Shohei Ohtani has once again turned the baseball world upside down with a moment that perfectly captured his legendary power and unshakable composure. In the heart of the postseason, under the bright lights and the eyes of millions, Ohtani stepped into the batter's box, and with what looked like a simple, almost jammed swing, he launched his seventh postseason home run. The crowd gasped, the cameras flashed, and even the commentators hesitated for a split second before realizing what had just happened. The sound off his bat didn't scream, home run, but the ball just kept carrying, disappearing over the fence as if guided by destiny itself. It was the kind of swing that made fans shake their heads in disbelief. He didn't even get all of it, one analyst said, still stunned as the replay rolled. That ball was inside, he looked jammed, and yet, it's gone. Ohtani simply jogged around the bases with his usual calm expression, as though he'd done nothing extraordinary. But the world watching knew better. This wasn't just another homer, it was a statement. It was Shohei Ohtani showing everyone that even his misses could turn into masterpieces. American baseball writers couldn't contain their amazement. Jeff Passan from ESPN wrote, "If this is what Ohtani does when he's jammed, what hope does any pitcher have when he squares one up?" The quote went viral within minutes, shared by fans and retweeted by MLB itself. Reporters in the press box exchanged knowing glances, they were witnessing something special yet again. For Blue Jays fans, the moment was bittersweet. Their team had fought hard all season, and they had one of the most balanced lineups in baseball. Some Toronto fans even used to say, "We don't need Ohtani." But that night, after watching his effortless swing send the ball over the wall, those same fans couldn't help but imagine what it would be like if the Japanese superstar wore blue and white. The Blue Jays might not need Ohtani, one Canadian columnist admitted, but every team in baseball wants him. What makes Ohtani's postseason run so mesmerizing is how natural he makes greatness look. The seventh home run wasn't hit with fury, it was controlled, precise, almost mathematical. His mechanics were so pure that slow-motion replays became instructional videos. Young players across Japan and the US watched, taking notes on his balance, timing, and follow-through. Coaches everywhere pointed to him as the ideal example of power meeting discipline. Teammates in the dugout reacted with both laughter and awe. One could be seen shaking his head, saying, "He looked jammed. That's not supposed to go out." Another added, "He's a cheat code, man." The camera caught Ohtani's quiet smile as he sat down, listening to the crowd chanting his name. It wasn't arrogance, it was confidence earned through thousands of hours of dedication. This homer wasn't just another number on his stat sheet. It marked a deeper truth about his evolution. Since joining the Dodgers, Ohtani has transformed from a two-way novelty into a full-blown phenomenon, a player whose every swing and step carries historical weight. Analysts compared him to the greats, Ruth, Mays, Griffey. Yet none of them had done what Ohtani has, dominate as both pitcher and hitter on the world's biggest stage. The pitch itself was a 96 miles per hour fastball, running in on his hands. Normally, that kind of pitch jams even the strongest sluggers, leading to weak contact or a broken bat. But Ohtani's wrists, lightning fast and impossibly strong, turned the ball into backspin magic. The crack of the bat didn't sound like a traditional home run, yet the ball flew like a rocket, carrying, gone. In that instant, social media exploded. "He jammed a home run," wrote one fan. "Physics doesn't apply to Shohei Ohtani." Another joked, "NASA needs to study that swing, it defies gravity." Within hours, highlight clips were trending across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Even casual fans who hadn't watched the game saw the replay and couldn't believe their eyes. The U.S. baseball community has seen many stars, but Ohtani continues to create a unique emotional connection. There's awe, respect, and genuine affection for him. He's not loud, he's not flashy, yet every time he steps on the field, you feel that something historic could happen. That aura makes even neutral fans tune in. His presence changes the rhythm of the game. After the game, reporters surrounded him, asking how he managed to hit that pitch out. Ohtani's response was classic Shohei, humble and simple. "I just tried to make contact," he said softly. But behind that calm voice was a genius understanding of his craft. To him, what looks impossible to others is just part of his normal process. His teammates praised him endlessly. "You can't teach that," said his manager. "It's not about strength, it's about understanding the bat, the ball, and the moment." Shohei has that gift. His words echoed through post-game coverage as analysts replayed the swing frame by frame, dissecting every motion like a piece of art. Fans in Japan woke up to the news and flooded social media with excitement. Japanese television replayed the home run dozens of times throughout the morning, accompanied by proud commentary. Even when jammed, he turns it into beauty, said one announcer. Across Tokyo, Osaka, and Hokkaido, fans wore Ohtani jerseys and smiled with pride. Back in Los Angeles, kids in little leagues mimicked his swing during practice. Coaches told them, "Keep your head steady, just like Shohei." He had become more than a superstar, he was now a global icon of discipline and passion. His influence had surpassed borders and leagues. What's remarkable is how composed Ohtani remains through it all. Most players after hitting 7 postseason home runs would bask in the spotlight. Ohtani, however, focuses on the next at-bat, the next game, the next opportunity to help his team win. That mentality is what separates him. It's not just talent, it's mentality, preparation, and relentless humility. Even rival players can't help but admire him. Blue Jays pitcher Kevin Gausman admitted post-game, "I thought I got him there. I really did. That pitch should have been a pop-up. But that's Shohei. You can't predict what he'll do." His honesty spoke for the entire league. Pitchers are running out of ideas, and fans love every second of it. American journalists continued to write stories about how Ohtani's presence has elevated the entire sport. "He's not just playing baseball," one wrote, "he's redefining it." MLB officials know it too. Every time he plays, ratings spike, attendance grows, and a new generation falls in love with the game. The moment also reignited debates about his future. Could Ohtani eventually return to pitching full-time? Could he break postseason records that have stood for decades? Some say he's only getting started. With every postseason swing, he adds another chapter to a story that feels like a baseball fairy tale. Statistically, Ohtani's 7th home run tied him with several legends for most postseason homers in a single year by a Japanese player. But beyond numbers, it was the way he hit it that will be remembered, the quiet, jam swing that defied logic and physics. In dugouts across MLB, players watched the replay on tablets. Some laughed, others sighed, but everyone nodded with respect. You can't teach what Ohtani has. You can only marvel. Even Blue Jays fans, once skeptical, stood and applauded. "Maybe we do need him," one fan said with a grin. "At least to see that swing in our ballpark." It was a moment that transcended rivalry. Pure appreciation for greatness. Sports radio shows across America the next morning were filled with callers talking about the homer. "He looked jammed. How did that go out?" became a running joke. Analysts replayed slow-motion footage and circled his wrists, explaining how Ohtani generated so much torque in such a small space. Former players like Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz weighed in on TV. Ortiz said, "When you can hit a jam shot for a homer, you're not human. That's God-given." Rodriguez added, "Ohtani is the most talented player I've ever seen. Period." Even MLB legends couldn't help but show admiration. Reggie Jackson tweeted, "You can't defend against perfection." Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez commented, "He reminds me of when baseball was magic. Every time he plays, the game feels alive." The deeper impact, though, lies in how Ohtani's moments unite people. Whether it's fans in Los Angeles, reporters in New York, or families in Tokyo watching together, his performances create shared joy. For 10 seconds during that home run, everyone watching felt the same thing, wonder. The ball he hit that night ended up in the stands, caught by a young fan wearing a Dodgers cap. Security escorted the boy to the clubhouse afterward, where Ohtani signed the ball with his signature smile. That simple act became another viral image, a superstar who never forgets what baseball means to fans. By the end of the night, Ohtani's stat line looked simple: 1 home run, 1 RBI, 1 run scored. But the story behind it was enormous. Analysts said, that swing will be replayed for years. And they're right. The beauty of Ohtani's career is that every game feels like history in progress. He's rewriting what's possible, blurring the lines between skill and art. His 7th postseason home run wasn't just a number, it was a reminder that greatness often comes quietly, disguised as something simple, until it takes flight. And as the postseason continues, fans around the world will watch every at-bat, holding their breath, waiting for the next moment when Shohei Ohtani once again makes the impossible look easy.